Good morning. My name is Rita Constantino, and I come from a very large Greek family, and I'm here this morning to start my first program called Rita's Delicious Dishes. And I learned to cook at a very young age. My mom was a great cook, but I think I've kind of gone past her cooking abilities and explored into other fields of cooking other than Greek. So this morning I am making a beautiful stove-top chicken parmesan with zucchini noodles, because my whole being is about healthy eating and healthy cooking. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. It's about 30 minutes from start to finish, so you can feel easy about coming home in the evening and making a beautiful meal for your family. So let's get started. I'm going to start by telling you to take a little fry pan and add a little bit of olive oil just to coat the bottom, and just give it a little bit. We don't need lots and lots of oil. We're trying to keep this healthy. And then I'm going to start that up and get it on medium heat, medium-high heat, so it's nice and hot when we put the chicken in. So the chicken breast, I have it all prepped up and ready to go. It's all trimmed of all excess fat. I am going to give it a little pounding to make it a little more tender. So I'm going to lay it right on my cutting board, and I'm going to place a piece of plastic wrap. I love this press and seal because it's easy to work with, and it doesn't usually get all caught up. But this morning it seems to be doing that, but it's okay. I got it all set up. We will just give them a couple of whacks. You want to use a really good sturdy mallet to be able to do it quickly. And I usually don't use the teeth side because it shreds the chicken. So I use the flat side, and I'm just going to give it a couple of good whacks. Makes a lot of noise, but in the end it's worth it. That's about it. We'll discard the paper. I try not to touch the chicken because it does cause problems, and I don't have to wash my hands all the time when I'm doing this meal if I pay attention and use my tongs. In here I have simple flour, just plain flour. It is white flour. You can use wheat flour or rice flour, whatever you like. I am going to season it heavily though, because seasoned flour makes a big difference in cooking. So I'm going to give it some salt, not too much, just a few shakes, some pepper. I like pepper, so I give it a little extra. And the rest of my seasonings, I don't use measuring spoons, but we will give you the recipe in the end. This happens to be garlic powder, so I just kind of sprinkle a good amount of that in there. The next seasoning I'm going to use is oregano leaves, and this is not one to be used heavily, just lightly. A couple of little leaves in there will do. Next one is little parsley flakes. I use dried herbs because sometimes if I get fresh herbs, I end up throwing them away, and I hate to throw food away, so I found it through the years that it's much better if I use dried herbs. So some onion flakes is the next thing. And the last one is going to be a little bit of a surprise for everybody. It is called ground anise or fennel seed, either one. And I put this in because I've learned from some Italian friends that it is what they put into Italian sausages. So if you want your Italian meal to taste really Italian, I add that little bit of ground fennel or ground anise. They're one and the same, basically. You shake the flour up so it gets mixed up well. Unzip the bag, and then we're just going to drop our two cutlets in here. These chicken cutlets. Zip the bag up. Make sure you leave some air in the bag. Give it a good couple of shakes. Move it all around so that it gets completely covered with lightly with flour. Dig in. Ooh, get a little hot there. We'll turn the fan on. You want to hear a sizzle when you put the chicken in. You definitely want to hear a good sizzle, which I heard. There we go. I put my fan on just in case we have any little smoky thing going on. Sometimes it happens. So we can set that aside. And now we're going to start the sauce while the chicken is cooking. I do not always make a sauce from scratch. I have learned that it's so much easier to use a really good jarred sauce. So this morning I've chosen Trader Joe's organic marinara, which has a lot of the basic deliciousness in it already, but I do add some things because there are some things that I think it needs. So we'll just empty the entire jar in here. I then will add a bit of white wine, because I think white wine makes everything taste delicious. And it loosens the sauce up a little bit, because sometimes for me the sauce gets a little thick, and I'm not big on a really thick marinara. I like a looser sauce, more like Northern Italian food. And Just kind of stir it up till it gets all blended well. Then I'm going to add some seasonings to this. I'm going to add, this time I'm going to keep the tops on. A little bit of garlic powder. Same things I put in the flour to season it. A little bit of parsley leaves, a little bit of oregano. The oregano you definitely want to keep the top on because sometimes the oregano comes out way too fast. And once it's in there, it's too late. Some onion flakes. Sweeten the pot a little bit. And again, a little ground anise in the sauce as well. Or ground fennel, whatever you want to call it. Well, whatever you have, if you have one or the other, just a bit, not too much. The chicken is cooking beautifully. I'm going to turn it in a little bit. Stir this up. We'll get this on the fire as well so it gets nice and hot. So simple a meal and so delicious in the end. So, so wonderful. There we go. We'll put that over a nice medium flame. We'll check the chicken. Oh, not quite yet. You want it to get a nice golden brown and to be cooked, basically cooked all the way through, because when we move it out of the pan, we want it to be cooked because it's going to take no more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes for the chicken to finish in the sauce with the cheese on top. So we are waiting on the chicken, and the sauce will be coming together in no time. Some of the things I like to cook, my favorite food to cook is definitely Greek food because it is my heritage, but my second favorite food is definitely Italian. I have gotten into a little bit of Asian cooking, which I love, but it's a pretty involved cooking process, so I kind of like to keep things simple. Although I think some of the Asian food is very, very healthy for us, it just is a pretty time-consuming thing, so I don't make it all that regularly, but I try to make it often because I like it, and my significant other likes it as well. So we got it nice and starting to turn golden brown. That's coming along beautifully. I would like to tell you that I'll teach a cooking class at the Council on the Aging in Marshfield. I do one on Tuesday morning and Wednesday evenings, which I bring recipes with me, and many times I bring the food cooked from the recipe that I'm bringing that week so they can taste it. I found through the years in working in the weight loss business for some 14 years for a huge company out there, many of you know me from that company, that if someone gets to taste a really delicious dish that's lean, healthy, and clean, and they love it, they are more apt to make it. For instance, I have brought things to the COA to my meetings and had people taste it and say, oh, I am going home and making this one for sure. And I think that if they didn't get to taste it, it wouldn't be as effective, and they wouldn't be like dying to try it or dying to make it when they go home. So I think it's really important that, and when I can do it, I bring it to them, but sometimes I can't, because sometimes some of the items are making it a little pricey and I can't afford to feed everybody a little bite, but when I can, I do, and it seems to be really effective. People absolutely enjoy everything that they've tried. Once in a while, you know, I get a recipe that I think is not as great as my other recipes, but it's still really good and really healthy. So you try to shoot for the moon, but sometimes you fall a little short, and that's okay with me. You know what? Not everyone is a winner. Not every single dish is a winner, but you try to make them all really, really good. So we're getting there with the chicken. Oh yeah. I'm going to add a little bit more oil because I did not have a lot of oil in the pan. So feel free to add a little bit so you don't have a lot of burn spots. Just move it around a little. Oh, it's smelling ever so good. I flip them all around all the time just because I'm not liking to sit still. Oh, my sauce is coming together beautifully. Smells wonderful. I so wish I could have everybody here to have a bite, but maybe the film crew will have a bite when we're done and tell me how they like it. Just a tiny bit more oil. One little thing I want to tell you about is these little tops to your oil bottles are so wonderful. And I happen to buy these at a place in Maine called Fiore. It's an oil and vinegar store. And they're interesting because on one side, if you pour them directly like this, it pours out a lot. And then if you turn it the other way, like when I'm having a salad, I want to be light on the oil because it's first of all, it's extra virgin olive oil, and it's not, you don't need tons of it. And second of all, this is where a lot of the calories lie. So when you turn it this way, it's just a tiny little stream. So you have so much more control over what you're doing on your salads or any of your meals for that matter. But it's a great little invention and a great little tool. And it's only, they were $5, which is so reasonable. So I bought 5 of them because I keep 5 different bottles of things by my stove when I'm cooking. So I have so much more control, and I've loved them. I just got them recently when I was there a couple of weeks ago. So I had others, but they were full pour spouts, and I really did not like them as well. So the chicken is just about done, believe it or not. Pretty quick. I can see it. As I poke it a little bit just to feel the texture of the chicken. I can almost tell when it's done by that. And that's just from years of cooking. That you get to be really good at that. I can also do that with beef products, which I'm pretty proud of myself about because it took me a while to figure it out. But the sauce is all set. I'm going to shut it off, and I'm going to remove the chicken from the pan because I'm going to use the same pan. I'm just going to wipe it out a little bit with some paper towels. You need not wash it. You just want to take any of the burnt things or charred pieces out. You do not need to add any more oil. We're going to add some sauce to the pan. Slowly. Ooh, sounds good, eh? Oh my goodness, it smells so good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. That would be wonderful. So I'm going to put the chicken in here. Oh, smells delightful. I'm going to get it covered up with some sauce. Woohoo! I'm loving it already. And by the way, this is going to be at dinner. So I had nothing for dinner, so I thought, oh, I might as well use this up, and we'll have a salad on the side and have a beautiful, beautiful meal. Clean, healthy, and delicious. Okay, so we'll bring that to a nice little boil. And then we're ready for our last little step. Get some of this out of here. We'll let that, I'm going to drop it a little bit. I'm going to put the cover back on, keep it nice and deep. Now for our zucchini noodles. You see, I don't really love pasta anymore because I know that pasta isn't always so good for us to eating white flour. I love wheat pasta. My other half does not like wheat pasta, so I have to make him white pasta, which is fine. He's an Italian man and he loves his pasta, so I make him what he wants. But I eat zucchini noodles. And sometimes, if I'm in the mood, and I think this is a great idea, to kind of wean yourself away from pasta dishes, is to use a blend of zucchini noodles and a few strands of pasta together, because when you eat them, you literally get a beautiful crunch from the zucchini noodles, and then you get that beautiful texture from the pasta that you've loved for so long. And then you don't feel like you're doing without. So, and it is really quite delicious when you get down to it. So here we go. This is a zoodle maker. It's a handheld one. They do have large machines that people purchase at stores that, I don't know, I feel there's no need for one. I don't have a lot of appliances. I like my kitchen sparsely decorated because I have a lot of things that I'm doing all the time and I need a lot of room. But the zoodle maker, this little zoodle maker is a wonderful little tool, and all you do is take your zucchini. You need to get the right size zucchini because this is about the size, so it needs to fit in the zoodler. So you take it and you just kind of hang it over the dish and you push through it, and here they come. Here comes the zoodles. Absolutely wonderful way to eat an Italian meal. I have introduced so many people to this zoodle maker. I make chicken zoodle soup, which is wonderful, and maybe we'll make that on another day. But I really love them. The only thing about zoodles is that they come out very long. I mean, really long. And we'll need to cut them up a bit to serve them. So, I mean, you could leave them like that and then let the people cut them up, but I like to cut them. And by the way, when you get close to the bottom of the last of the zucchini, you need to be very careful because there is a blade there's two blades in there, and you don't want to hurt yourself. So it does come with a little top that you put on top, and you just keep grinding it through, and you'll get it to come almost all the way through, except there'll be a little nub left inside, of which I will take out, and I will eat actually later, raw, which is a wonderful thing. So there we have our zoodles, and I'm going to give them a little spread on the dish. I'm going to give them a little light chop. Good knives are a must in a kitchen. I bought Cutco knives 20 years ago. They have replaced this one already for nothing, and they've sharpened them for nothing. It is a great group of knives, so I highly recommend them. I know there's a lot of other good knives out there, but I really, really love my Cutcos. All right, so this is ready, and just to give it a little, so it's not too crunchy and feeling raw,
This is a slick little way to make them without having to drain them, is you get a nice wet paper towel, lay it over the top of the dish, put it in your microwave. I put it in just for maybe 2 minutes. And they're gonna come out nice and soft, but still a little crunchy, which is what how I like to have my zoodles. In the meantime, I'm gonna unwrap our my cheese of choice is provolone for my chicken parm. Some people like Parmesan, some people like mozzarella. Personally, I like provolone because it gives it a really good, strong taste. And try and look to buy imported provolone, because domestic cheeses aren't quite what imported cheeses are. I mean, nobody makes a better Italian cheese than an Italian, so or a better Greek cheese than a Greek. So I actually travel far and wide for my imported cheeses. So let's take a look at the chicken parm. It looks like it's coming along beautifully, and it's about ready for me to drop the pieces of cheese on top and finish this dish off. 1, 2. When I put the cover back on, the heat is going to make the cheese melt beautifully. I'm then going to transfer that on top of the zoodles and present the dish. It's almost ready, another minute or so, and this is going to take about another minute, so it's coming together perfectly. Put that in the sink. I had an extra piece of cheese in case I wanted to nibble. I'm not doing that. I'm going to save myself for my Parmesan. It's coming. It's melting up. It's just going to be absolutely wonderful. This can be served with a side salad if you like, or green beans, or any other vegetable that you want to serve with it that you think you'd like to have, that you think would make a good mix. I love salads with all my meals, so I make just a basic tossed salad. Sometimes I use a creamy dressing, sometimes I use oil and vinegar. If I do use a creamy dressing, I certainly measure it, because most creamy dressings are loaded with calories. So I don't buy low cal or low fat, because they have added things to them that I don't choose to put in my body. That's entirely up to you. Here's our zoodles, all ready to go. And our dish is rounding the corner. Oh yes. I'm going to get myself a knife and a fork, because I am going to have a taste. Because all good cooks taste their food before they give it to anybody, with the exception of restaurateurs, of course. So it's actually finished, so I'm going to shut it off. I'm going to bring my plate nice and close so I don't make a mess. I can be a messy cook, so my significant other tells me all the time, but he loves the food. So messy and good food, he's okay with that. So here it comes. Oh, just look at this beautiful thing. Oh, I can't resist this. I don't think anyone can. There we go, just pour that sauce right over the top. Does it get any prettier than that? Woohoo! I do want to wipe up the dish a little bit, especially with the sauce cheese that's hanging over the side. Happens to the best of us. Oh. There we go. We add a little salt and pepper, just a tiny bit of salt, because everything needs a little tiny bit of salt as far as I'm concerned. And there is your beautiful stovetop chicken parm with zucchini noodles done in under half an hour. I hope you all enjoy this beautiful recipe, and I hope you do try it, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. In the meantime, I'm ready to have a bite. I don't know if any of you watch TV, cooks on TV, but there's a wonderful lady named Lydia who is an Italian cook, and she tastes all of her food, always. And when I see her face when she puts her food in her mouth, it makes me want to put it in my mouth too. You gotta make this. It is so good, so healthy, and you'll never stop making it. Thank you so much. Listen to me talking with my food in my mouth. Please visit us at the COA. Enjoy that entire building. It has so much to offer. And see if you might want to come in, come into my class and learn how to eat well and be well. Have a great day. Thank you.